She had maids to wash her clothes, teachers afraid to punish her, and parents powerful enough to erase consequences, until one school treated her like nothing special. Some people are born into struggle. Others are born into comfort so deep that struggle sounds like a rumor. Charity belonged to the second group. From the day she opened her eyes to the world, life had already been arranged for her. Not planned, not prepared, arranged. Her parents lived in a large house in the city that stood among other fine buildings, but somehow looked louder than all of them. The paint was always fresh, the compound was wide, the gate opened slowly, proudly, as if it knew the family inside mattered. Inside that house, nothing waited to be done. Everything was already done. Charity did not grow up learning how to wash clothes, sweep floors, or make her bed. She did not even know where the broom was kept. Those things were handled by the many maids who moved around the house quietly, almost like shadows trained not to be noticed. If Charity wanted water, she did not stand up. She shouted. If her uniform was not ironed perfectly, she shouted louder. If food arrived late by a few minutes, she complained like the world was ending. And people obeyed, not because she was kind, but because they feared her reaction. Even as a secondary school student, Charity behaved like someone who owned the world. Her voice was sharp. Her words carried weight. Adults avoided crossing her path. Maids resigned often. Visitors grew uncomfortable around her. And Charity loved it. Ordering people around made her feel powerful, important, untouchable. One morning, she pushed her breakfast plate away in disgust. "Why is my food cold?" she snapped. A maid rushed forward, hand shaking. "Sorry, madam, I will warm it." Charity rolled her eyes and clicked her tongue. "If you can't do the job properly, leave it for someone else." The maid nodded silently and carried the plate away. Charity felt satisfied. To her, that was normal behavior. That was how life worked when you had money. At school, Charity carried the same attitude. She attended a good secondary school in the city, one many parents prayed their children would enter. Clean classrooms, trained teachers, roles that were meant to shape character. But Charity believed roles were for others. She arrived late almost every day. When teachers questioned her, she smiled and walked past them. When punishment was given, her parents were called, and somehow the punishment always disappeared. Charity noticed the pattern early, and it made her bold. She slept in class with her head on the desk. She scrolled through her phone during lessons. When teachers asked questions, she laughed it off. "Sir, I forgot." Her grades dropped. She didn't care. In her mind, school was a waste of time. Money would open every door later. Some classmates envied her lifestyle. Others disliked her deeply. But Charity noticed none of it. She lived inside a bubble made of comfort and arrogance. At home, her parents watched helplessly. Mr. Okori was a respected man in the city. In church, he spoke about morals, discipline, humility. His wife, Mrs. Okori, was known for her calm nature and gentle advice. From the outside, they looked like the perfect couple raising the perfect child. But behind closed doors, fear lived with them. Mrs. Okori often sat alone in the evenings, thinking about the little girl Charity used to be, the one who loved bedtime stories and hugs. Somewhere along the line, that child disappeared. "Good evening, Mommy," Charity would say without stopping, eyes glued to her phone. Sometimes she didn't greet at all. Mrs. Okori tried everything. Calm talks, warnings, emotional conversations. "This life you are living is not good," she once said gently. Charity scoffed. "Oh, Mommy, please, you worry too much." Those words hurt more than insults. Mr. Okori noticed too. The way visitors looked uncomfortable around Charity. The way maids quit. The whispers in church. One Sunday, a woman pulled Mrs. Okori aside. "Madam, your daughter is beautiful, but you need to watch her character." Mrs. Okori forced a smile, but inside shame burned. That night, she cried quietly so Charity wouldn't hear. Charity, meanwhile, felt untouchable. She believed her parents' status protected her. She believed nothing serious could ever happen. Until one afternoon, when she insulted a family visitor over something small. "Why are you sitting there?" Charity snapped. The room went silent. Mr. Okori stood up sharply. "Charity." She shrugged. "For what? Should I apologize?" That moment broke something inside her father. After the visitor left, Charity was called into the sitting room. "Sit down," Mr. Okori said firmly. Charity sat with a bored expression. "Your behavior is a problem," he said slowly. "You have no respect for anyone." Charity laughed. "Daddy, you are exaggerating." Those words hurt more than insults. "You embarrass us everywhere," he continued. "Do you think money can cover bad character?" Charity stood up angrily. "I'm tired of this talk." She slammed the door and walked away. That night, her parents talked for hours about their mistakes, about fear, about losing their daughter to pride. And then a decision formed. Heavy, painful, unavoidable. Boarding school. Mrs. Okori cried. "She will hate us." Mr. Okori sighed. "But if we don't act now, we will fail her." While Charity slept peacefully, her comfort was already ending. The next morning, Charity ate breakfast casually, unaware. Later that evening, her parents called her into the sitting room. "We have decided you will be going to a boarding school," her father said. Charity laughed. "Very funny." "We're not joking." The smile vanished. "No, I'm not going anywhere." "A school with discipline," Mr. Okori added. Charity exploded. "You can't do this to me. I'm not a village girl." Those words cut deep. "We're trying to save you," Mrs. Okori cried. "Save me from what?" Charity shouted. "Comfort?" She stormed into her room, crying, throwing things around. "You're ruining my life." Preparations began quietly. The school had a reputation. Strict rules, strong discipline. And one name followed every story. Mrs. Ofamanta. "She doesn't joke," parents whispered, "but she changes children." Charity laughed when she overheard. "They can't change me." The day of departure arrived. At the school gate, Charity froze. No flashy buildings, no noise. Students moved in straight lines. Silence everywhere. Fear crept into her chest. Mrs. Okori hugged her tightly. "Remember who you are." Charity didn't hug back. "You will regret this." Inside the school, Mrs. Ofamanta spoke calmly, but every word carried weight. "This is not a hotel," she said. "This is discipline." Charity's bed was near the door, so you can learn to wake up fast. No argument worked. The shock deepened. Early mornings, chores, silence, prep time. When Charity was told to sweep for the first time, she laughed. "I don't do that." She was punished. Extra duties, no excuses. She cried quietly that night, missing her old life. Her shouting no longer worked. Talking back only brought consequences. One afternoon, Charity insulted a junior student. "Apologize," Mrs. Ofamanta said. Charity refused. She was punished under the sun for hours. During that punishment, Charity noticed something strange. Mrs. Ofamanta wasn't angry. She looked concerned. Weeks passed. Slowly, painfully, Charity began to change. She learned to make her bed, wash clothes, wake early. One evening, Mrs. Ofamanta said simply, "You are improving." No one had praised her like that before. Then Charity fell sick. Mrs. Ofamanta brought her food herself. "Discipline without care is cruelty," she said softly. Something broke inside Charity. She began helping others, speaking kindly, listening. Real laughter returned. During chores week, Charity was made a group leader. The old Charity would have shouted. This time, she said calmly, "Let's finish together." The group worked harder, finished early. Handled well, Mrs. Ofamanta said. But not everyone liked Charity's change. A senior named Blessing grew jealous. She spread rumors, mocked Charity. One day, she poured water on Charity's bed. One called in, Charity surprised everyone. She said quietly, "I forgive her." Blessing broke down crying. That day, Charity learned something powerful. Kindness could disarm anger. Charity's academics improved, not because she was the smartest, but because she became consistent. On prize day, her name was called for leadership and improvement. Mrs. Ofamanta nodded once. Years later, Charity returned home transformed. She greeted maids, helped in the kitchen. When a maid broke a plate, Charity said calmly, "Are you hurt?" Her parents watched in quiet gratitude. Years later, Charity returned to the school as a guest speaker. Standing beside Mrs. Ofamanta, she said, "Discipline is not punishment, it is direction." The hall erupted in applause. Charity smiled, not with pride, but with peace. Because sometimes the hardest decisions are the ones that save us. Charity did not change because life became easier. She changed because comfort was taken away. Because discipline showed her who she could become. And somewhere, a stubborn child watching this video might realize the truth. No one is beyond growth, only beyond excuses. Thanks for watching. Bye.